So you can just hire these guys, and the attacking organization can hire these guys and ask them, okay, you guys have been hired for ransomware service. Go and kind of uh, start a ransomware attack on a specific company. Let's say Microsoft, for example. So these guys will kind of then go, and automatically you don't need to kind of worry about what's the bug or what's the kind of how the attacker, how to kind of get inside the Microsoft server. So this whole thing will be done by them, and then what they will do is like they will initiate a ransomware as a service, ransomware attack on the Microsoft on the behalf of the client. Okay, so these all things are kind of that would come up for the hacker for iOS. Let me see. Yep. And as I told, for the insiders, we have different kind of controls in place, like DLP tools and user behavior analytics, which you can kind of use kind of to detect the malicious insiders. Now let's quickly kind of go to the next section, which is so let me see what other topics I have right now. So this is maybe 1 second, guys. Okay, so now since we have kind of known about kind of about the activist and all details, now what we'll do is that we will go to certain of the case study, like Mirai case studies and Equifax hack and Sony hack. So let's start with the Equifax hack case study. So the reason why I am discussing, why I earlier discussed SolarWinds and now I'm discussing Equifax, the reason it will help us to know like what kind of attacks are kind of what's the trend in the attacks right now in the market, and it will also help us to judge that okay, if this attacks kind of comes to our organization can or to any of our client, can we kind of protect them from similar kind of attacks, and how what will be our way to kind of handle this attack going forward, like what will be our incident response plan. Okay, so let's go to the Equifax case, and let me quickly kind of share a timeline of how the Equifax hack looked like. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm just going to timeline section. Okay, so the timeline was for the Equifax hack. So it was actually like it was something around 2017, and why it is, and it is very useful to kind of understand more about this case. Even though it is old, it is quite good to know about. So it was something like on March 6, 2017, that there was a patch released, okay, for Apache. So there was for Apache. So there was a bug in Apache tool. There was a specific bug in Apache struts tool. Okay, struts tool, and the CVE was 2017 5638. Okay, so what I will ask you guys is like after this session, have a look at this blog going forward, like what this CVE was and what it would do. So what the bug, what this vulnerability was, that it would allow the attacker to kind of get hold of the server running this software, and thing is that it would enable the attacker to kind of get a remote code execution capability on the servers, which is called RC, remote code execution. Okay, and so there's like a lot of things which you can kind of go through that and kind of understand how the attack works. Okay, going forward. Right now, I won't cover that for now, but later we'll see like what all these things means, like headers and all. We'll kind of see that things in detail. Like let's say what's content type. This headers means in a kind of a website header, and we'll kind of see that in detail. But for now, I will say like this is one of the vulnerability that was kind of present in the Apache struts, which the Equifax, one of the server was kind of running that software, and there's a release of the patch for that in March 6, 2017. Okay, now what happened in March 10, attacker actually scanned the servers of the Equifax, and they were able to know that one of the server does has that vulnerable software running. Okay, on March 10th. Now on May 13, actually, almost up after 2 weeks. Okay, after 2 months, almost like April and May, the attacker came back. The same attacker came back who had actually known at March 10 that okay, there are server who has been impacted. And once they came back on May 13, actually the Equifax had not patched their servers. And thing is that once the attacker came back, they were able to kind of get root access to the server, root access. Okay, and once they had the root access, they were able to do multiple things. They were able to kind of lateral movement. They were able to insert lateral movement on the organization, like getting from one server, they were able to jump to other servers. And then what would happen is that it was almost 76 days they were inside the company organization. They spread it out over the whole Equifax architecture, and they were able to kind of expel GBs and GBs of data outside to the server. Okay, GBs and GBs of data to their own controlled web server. Okay, so now on July 29th, actually, okay, July 29th, the breach was discovered. Okay, July 29th, and then the vulnerable site, once this breach was discovered on July 30, the vulnerable website, which the vulnerable server, which was kind of having that CVE bug in that, it was actually removed. Okay, and by that time, there was like almost 150 million people data were kind of stolen by the attacker. And what I will do is now I will kind of go. I'll take a 1 minute break, guys. I'll quickly need to kind of grab a water. And then my objective is to kind of understand more about the timeline. What all things we can understand from just from this timeline. Okay. What's the what's the good and bad thing that happened in the Equifax case by which this attack actually was kind of possible. Okay. So give me guys 1 minute break. And in the meantime, do kind of a 2 minutes break. In the meantime, do think of any question that you need to ask, and I'll quickly grab water and come back. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's resume our discussion on the Equifax hack case study. Okay. So one of the things I like to do is like I like to go again through a timeline, and let's think of that. Okay, they had a SOC team in their organization, and let's see what are the misses that the SOC team was there, and let's see what were the misses by which this attack actually happened. So the first thing is that on March 6, 2017, the patch of the that vulnerability of the Apache struts was